They say this is a big rich town.
I just come from the poet's parts.
What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Moedotj, and this is Power Book 2, the finale. Now, there's a lot of action in here, and it's kind of jam-tight, but before we get into that, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you want to be a part of this, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you get something every time I upload. Oh, and hit that like button. Let's get the likes up on here. Now, we know this is the finale. What I'm going to say is the acting to me was a little bit off this week. I don't know what it was, but it's the finale, and it seemed like they tried to cram a lot in so they can continue on with the book three coming on with Kanan. It just seemed like they crammed a lot into this, but I'm not gonna hold you up anymore. Let's jump into it. This is Power Book 2, the finale. Like I said earlier, there's going to be some acting in here and it's just going to seem off. But we get to start this week's episode off with who else? Mr. Rico. He done drove up here. He done shot up Monet's club. They owe him money. So Monet shows up with the money and she's talking to him. Rico talking big, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you're not the leader. Your husband is. We got business with him, and y'all messing things up. So, you know what I'm saying? We might have to remove y'all up out of here. And Monet, we know Monet's never been one to back down to anybody. So she's standing up. She's like, "There's your money." And Rico, you know what I'm saying? He starts talking like, "Oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? I guess you ain't gonna let me hit, so I'm gonna go find me some girls somewhere else around New York." And Monet did what she had to do. She ends up taking Rico out. Pop! Hit him in the chest, dropped him. Rico's out the picture. You know what I'm saying? So hey, at least that's one less thing Monet and them have to worry about. Unless whoever Rico was getting it from, they gonna need somebody to fill that connect spot now. I think we're all in agreement by now that Kane is obviously wilding out, doing everything, whatever he wants to do, he's messing everything up. So here he is trying to bury Ramirez's body. Monet's calling him, he has to get rid of his SIM card. He throws the phone off in the woods, but he throws the SIM card right here on the walk path. Come on, man. And then this body has two bricks on top of it. So he's pretty much getting rid of Ramirez because he took it in his own to kill the cop that was the only person that could really help them. So now we got a body in the little lake or wherever it is. He got cement blocks on him. Bye bye, Ramirez. But Kane, you on another level, brother. You need to calm down. Tariq heads to school, but he also has to go to court. Now, you remember there's a subpoena for Tariq to come testify in court in Tasha's case. Now, once he gets to class, he's talking to Loren, and she's like, "Oh, class is canceled. Jabari and Carrie, they're still interviewing the students." So Tariq is like, "Oh, okay." So Loren wants to know why you dressed up. He's like, "I had to go, down to court for my mom." So Lauren, she's still trying to get in good. She still likes Tariq, and she doesn't know why he played him off. But you remember the night he played her off doing the little homecomings because he had the blood on him. But Tariq is like, "Nah, I have to go. I got to handle this on my own." That's because Tariq is really going up to take the stand. He knows he's being set up. But before he leaves, Lauren, she's like, "Oh, come here real quick." And then she fixes his tie. I'm like, okay, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Young love, man. I remember being there. But Tariq has to head to court. And this is what we all been anticipating. What's going to happen in court? Here we go. Snitching on an all-time high. Now they bring in Elliot, and he's sitting there talking to him about what happened that night. Now at first he's not saying anything because he's like nervous, but they start asking him questions, and he just starts giving in, and pretty much he sums up. Me and a couple of fellas, we went out to the club, the basketball players, but he doesn't name Zeke's name, but then he does name Zeke's name. Like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Oh, Zeke was there." And then he's like, "They got into it with a guy and they pulled the gun." And then he was like, some guy named Drew, Zeke's cousin, came and broke it up. Wait, they're not gonna get in trouble for it." So Jabari's looking like, okay, Drew, I know Drew. Okay, so that's Zeke's cousin. I know you and Tariq know. Tariq knows Drew. Okay, Jabari's starting to put it together because he's just a weirdo like that. And Carrie hears Zeke's name, so what she does is try to step in like, "Oh, you were drunk. You don't remember none of that, do you?" After the little conversation goes on, Jabari's putting two and two together, and Carrie's still trying to keep Zeke's name out of that because if Zeke gets brought into this, Monet already said they're going to expose Carrie for having saying a little situation with a student, which is unacceptable, ladies. If the roles were reversed, people would be having a fit, an uproar. But you got to keep it on the low, though. Here we go, Mr. Mess Up. Zeke comes in and he's coming to talk to Carrie because everything that's going on. And Jabari sees, he's like, wait a minute, that might be who it is. But Zeke goes in a room and he's going off like, you talked to the cops, you told them this and this. I told you not to say anything about what's going on. For Carrie, she's like, listen, you got to trust me, Zeke, because what we're doing, I'm putting my career on the line for you. So if you just let me take control of this, I promise you, I'll get us out of this. You won't be able to be attached to none of this little gang stuff. The whole time Jabari's on the other side and he's listening to this. So while they're having this conversation, he starts Googling and he's putting together, oh, Zeke is the cousin to Drew. Drew knows Tariq. Drew is Zeke's cousin. He saved him. Oh my goodness. Now Carrie's over here still pleading her case. And what does she do? She takes advantage of a young man that's going through something that he can't fight on his own. And what does she do? Takes advantage of him. Gets up on him, is kissing him, talking about we're gonna get through this, just trust me. Zeke, don't fall for it, man. Don't fall for it, Zeke. Kane ends up pulling up on Drew just to see how his brother is. You know, he heard he'd been shot. Monet was up there, so he couldn't go and see him. When he comes in, Drew is like, man, what are you doing here? He don't want any parts of him. Because he's like, you said if I'm not with you, I'm against you. You know what I'm saying? So why would you come in here after I've been shot? And Kane's like, man, I didn't mean none of that. You're my brother. You know what I'm saying? So I may have said some stuff, but I promise I didn't mean it, because that's what brothers do. They might say some stuff, but they don't really mean it. But the whole time is, Drew's like, man, you've been messing up. Everything you're doing, you're messing up. And where's Ramirez? We haven't heard from him. We've been blowing him up. And Kane pretty much comes out and says, oh, he's where he needs to be. And Drew is like, come on, Kane. You killed this dude. Now you have an officer on our hands, the only person that can help us. So for Drew, he's like, man, this is pretty much it. And this is where he really distances himself from Kane. The moment we all been waiting for, the court date. Now, I'm going to make this quick and I'm going to sum it up for you with as much detail as I can. Tariq takes a stand. When he takes a stand, Sack starts asking him questions. Were you at, saying that truth that night? Tariq's like, yeah, I was there. I met some people with my dad, shook some hands, and I don't know what time it was. Then he starts asking Tariq, did he see anybody else there? And then he was like, no. But I did see you there, Sax, with the gun. And at this point, Sax was like, oh, yeah, I was there doing nothing outside of, saying I'm doing my work. But I didn't have a gun. Then Tariq starts giving outbursts like, nah, you had me drugged and you followed me. That's how you knew where I was going to be at that night. And you have a video of me talking to my father. See, what Tariq's doing is taking all of the evidence that they could use against him and throwing it out there, saying that Sax was there, Sax recorded him, and Sax had someone drug him. So the judge hears this and she's like, wait a minute, whoa. You still need to answer Sax's question where you had truth. But Sax, we want to know, how does he know all of this, and was he really, really drugged? It's just getting deeper and deeper. So Sax is like, hold on, wait a minute. And the judge was like, Sax, how many people are involved in this? And he's like, and Tariq blurts out again, I can tell you exactly how many people are involved in it, and I can tell you who's been working with them before all this was happening. And that's alluding to Mr. Davis. So Tariq's throwing everybody up under the bus, which is going to get Tasha off, is going to get him off. Now, when this happens, Davis, he's like, Your Honor, can we go to the chambers? And the judge is like, yeah, you, Sax, all y'all, come on in the back with me. We need to have a talk about what the hell is going on in this court right now. But Tariq did a good job. Threw them under the bus. Now it's going to look real bad on Sax and Davis. Once they get in the back, now it's all hell for Sax. Tamika comes back there. We all know Tamika's been trying to get Sax since the beginning of time. She was cool with Sax. She's always been cool with Sax. But Sax always does something to make her look at him like, why the hell am I cool with you? Once they get in the chambers, the Democratic Party is angry with Sax. Pretty much, hey, you're fired after this. But now that you messed this up, you drugged Tariq, and you were at the club, this is going to get Tasha off. This takes Tariq out of it. Now we have no one to blame for James St. Patrick's murder. And Davis, you weren't off of this either because you were working with Sax. So now these two, the trial is pretty much over with now. Tasha's free. But the only stipulation is, the only way Tasha can be free is if Tasha says that Tommy Egan did it and she tells everything that Tommy done from the beginning to the end. That's the only way that she has immunity and she will be free from everything. After the trial, Tasha comes out in this little meeting and she's talking to Tariq like, Tariq, we have to get out of here. They won't let me get protective custody of you also. It's just me and Yasmin. So she's like, we gotta run. While this is going on, Riley leaves the courthouse and she goes to meet up with Braden. Like, I'm sorry for everything. And Braden's pretty much like, Tariq's told me everything. So everything you've done up from here, you've been lying. And what Riley is trying to tell Braden is like, okay, I made a mistake, but I really like you. But you need to know about Tariq. His family is real dangerous. He's dangerous to be around. He might hurt you. Be careful around him. But Braden's like, forget all that. I'm loyal to Tariq because you lied to me and you drugged my friend. So let's see how this plays out for Braden because Riley's trying to give him a warning, but as of right now, Tariq's all Braden has left. This here is interesting. Zeke actually pops up on Tariq, but this is the first time he pops up on Tariq in a while that doesn't have to deal with anything that has to do with homework. Now, he comes over and he's pretty much giving Tariq a warning like, hey, man, Kane is out here wilding out, man. Everything that we got into, if they know that Drew is my cousin and how to get to Monet is me, then they're going to find out that you're working with Monet and them and they're going to be after you. So you need to be very, very careful. And Tariq is like, damn. All right, so it really is, and like these people is after me. So Zeke is like, yeah, you got to be careful. It's gonna be a lot of cops and stuff going on because of the dead body. Just be careful out here. And also, this is why I told you not to be involved with my family. When you came over the first time, I was like, don't deal with these people. Zeke doesn't know much of what they do, but what he did tell Tariq is, you know, Monet doesn't tell everybody what she's about to do. Meaning, hey, you got to watch out. Monet is wild, bro. Tariq gets this information and now he's on the run. Like, well, not on the run, but he's got to make moves because his mom wants to pack up and leave. So he meets up with Diana and she's pretty much telling him, hey, we can't control Kane, man. Like, he's wilding out. He killed Ramirez. And Tariq turns into, like, he's starting to turn into the hero slash villain. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what he is right now, but he's telling Diana, I need to know everything that's going on because I need to try to fix stuff. Pretty much he's turning into Ghost. He trying to hear what's going on. Let me figure out how I can fix it for people. So this is Tariq evolving right here. Tariq's about to take it to another stage. He's becoming Ghost right in front of our eyes. I said we just seen Tariq leveling up and turning into Ghost. We're watching Braden turn into Tommy. He's telling Tariq like, man, I know your mom's off now. You don't need to get that money for your, you know what I'm saying, for the lawyers. Let's get back in the game, bro. Let's make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Let it die down for a little bit, then we pick back up and we take over. I gotta stay in this, man. I found something that I'm good at. He loves selling the drugs, man. We seen him on the corner, he was doing good. He's seen the bricks, he's like, oh my goodness, we in the money. Let's make it happen. But Tariq is like, look, man, I gotta make some moves real quick, but let's talk about this later and we could potentially have you taking over what I got. So Braden is like, oh, I'm with that for real. Let's make that happen. Lame ass, my bad. Professor Jabari calls Tariq in, like, let me talk to you. Now, Tariq comes in, and Jabari's been putting everything together. And he pretty much lays out the whole, I know you know Drew. I've seen you with him. I know Drew is Zeke's cousin. I know that you sell drugs. I know about the course correct. I know about all this. Now, here's my proposition. There's cops here. We're doing interviews. During this, the cop actually comes in, and he introduces Tariq to him. But before he comes in, he's telling Tariq, listen, this is what we're going to do. I won't say anything about any of this. I'm going to give you part of my advance. You help me write a book. So Tariq is like, what? The cop comes in. So now in Tariq's head, he's like, oh, shit, the cops are here. I'm going to have to do what Jabari says because Jabari actually knows all of this. Even though I'm acting like I don't know what's going on, he knows that Jabari knows everything now because Jabari just laid it all out. So Tariq is like, all right, Jabari gives him the numbers like, hey, meet me up a little bit later. Tariq got to get that advance, man, if he's going to be on the run with Tasha. The two bosses meet up. Miss Monet, Miss Tasha. Now, when they come in here, you know what I'm saying? Monet got the Hennessy out, got the pistol out. She ain't worried about nothing. Now, this right here is two mothers coming together with a little, you know what I'm saying, disagreement. Tasha comes in like, hey, look, however much money Tariq owes you, we're going to get you that money. I want my son out the game. I don't want him doing this no more. He's out the game. Monet says, I always knew Tariq would always pick you first. But as of right now, Tariq's for me, man. I know that's your son, But what you're telling me is if Tariq stops working for us, we done built a whole thing around Tariq. If he stops working, you mean to tell me I gotta tell my kids we can't eat? Nah, Tariq, he's mine. I own Tariq. And Tasha's like, listen, your son Kane is wilding out. That doesn't mean that's how you made him. You raised him differently, just like I raised Tariq away from this. So I don't want him in it. Y'all remember that. It's how you raise your kids. Doesn't mean because you raise them good and they go off, you raise them bad. No, you raise them good, but kids are going to do what they want to do. That's something you need to watch and pay attention to, especially in this show. During this mother on mother crime, a car drives by and all you hear is doo, 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 doo. Someone's ringing them things out. Tasha jumps behind the thing. She telling me, oh my God, what's going on? Monet does Monet. She grabs that pistol and just lets them all boom, boom, boom. Me, I'm behind the counter. I'm pouring up the Hennessy. I'm chilling because I ain't got no beef with whoever it is. But when we look outside, we see the back of a blue car. Who could that be? Who's shooting at us in broad daylight? Could it be Mr. Tommy Egan? It turns out it is Tommy Egan. He's back and he's coming for Tasha because she has to snitch on him. That Tommy's not gonna let that ride. So she gets to Tariq's spot and she like, Tariq, we gotta go. But for Tariq, he's like, we need some money if we gonna be on the run. Give me a minute. Let me try to put together some money. And Tasha's like, listen, Tommy is out and he is a killer. Tariq stands up and is like, I'm a killer too. We know Tariq got bodies on him now. Tariq is a killer. I don't think he can mess with Tommy, but Tariq is a killer. And he's trying to tell Tasha, listen, hear me out. I got a plan. Let me work something out. And then let's go on the run. But we can't just go on the run, you know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna have no money. Monet goes and sees Lorenzo, and they're pretty much arguing over what's going on the outside, not being any control. The bar done got shot up twice in what, 2 days? Come on, man, what are you doing out there? But Lorenzo's like, listen, you've been exposed out here. We don't have the power that we had. You need to get Kane back and get the corner boys back. And Monet's like, listen, we can't get Kane back. He's wilding out. You know what I'm saying? We haven't heard from Ramirez or none of this. Kane is a loose cannon. But Lorenzo's like, he's a loose cannon, but he's also going to do what we need him to do. And they have the muscle. So we got to figure out how to get the corner boys back up under Monet so we can actually move these things through the streets. You know what I'm talking about? Things still ain't looking good for Kane. Monet pulls up on him. He's in the GTG warehouse. He got a little freak in the back. He doing his thing Bobby Brown style. And then his mama come in. She like, cut all this out. So they start talking. And she's pretty much telling Kane, listen, you've been messing up. You need to get the hell up out of town like I told you before. It's over with. You're not part of this family. And he's like, nah, I am part of this family. You over here dealing with Tariq. But what he doesn't understand is Tariq is actually helping out. Monet's like, no, Tariq saved your sister. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with Tariq. Everything is going wrong is because of you. You're making your own decisions. But Monet lets him know, hey, you're not part of this family no more, bruh. You can be mad. You can do all you want to do, fuss and fight, kick and scream. But you ain't part of this family no more, Kane. We're done with you. Mr. Tommy Egan is back. You know what I'm saying? They got to bring him back so we can see that he's still alive and well, and he's getting ready for his own little spinoff. The kid that he's talking to is Cash, so he came back and checked up on her because, you know, he always had love for his girl Keisha, so you got to make sure Cash is straight. When he comes out the house, guess who's on his car? Tariq is on his car, and Tariq's like, you know what I'm saying, things happen, we had to do what we had to do, and Tommy's like, hey, don't call me uncle no more because, you know, you killed your own father and stuff, and Tariq's like, I had to do it. Tommy starts to tell him, like, look, well, whatever you got going on, I'm looking for your mom, and I'm not stopping until this is over. But Tariq gives him a proposition, like, listen, I have a plan that will get you out and will get us out. You don't have to deal with my mom. We'll all have some money, and we'll be straight. Tommy's like, all right, you got 2 minutes to explain it to me, but it better be good, because if not, I'm on your mama's ass. Now it turns out everybody's popping up. They know Tommy's back in town, so they got to try to figure out how can we catch Tommy because we're trying to get Tasha to go ahead and snitch and say that Tommy did all this. Now, Tariq put a plan in place, and now Sax has a plan. Sax's plan is they're going to get in Tasha's car. He gets in there. He starts talking to Tasha like, listen, we know Tommy Egan is after you. You need to get out of here right now. Look straight. We're going to wait for Tommy to come. Tommy ends up coming and pulling up, and once they see Tommy, Sax is like, drive off. We have people following you. We're going to try to get Tommy today. Now, Tommy ain't playing around. We know he wants Tasha's head. So I want to see what the plan is and how it's going to actually happen. You know what I'm saying? Because Tariq always comes up with something, but let's see how the power world takes it. Is it too far-fetched for a 18, 17, 18-year-old to be able to put together a plan like this? Just watch and see. So here's the plan. They knew that Saxon was going to be after them. So Tasha gets Sax in the car. Tommy ends up pulling up. Tommy starts to chase her. Tasha's driving off. She's driving off fast. Tommy's trying to, saying, catch her. You see the little cops pulling up. Tommy sees them. Like, all right, cool. Sax tells Tasha, when we get up to this stop sign, speed off through it so cars can get Tommy. Tasha speeds off and she's running. They drive off. Tommy's trying to catch up. And then all of a sudden, Tommy comes around a corner and runs into a trailer. But boom! Now it looks like Tommy's car is on fire. Now we know Tommy can't be dead because we know a spinoff for Tommy is coming. So I don't know how they did this little plan where it looks like Tommy's car drives into this trailer and blows up and they get rid of Tommy and there's actually going to be a body in there that they can identify as Tommy. Since Tommy's been arrested, they have DNA, they have fingerprints, so none of this body is going to match up. But that's the power of TV. I don't want to dig too deep in that, but this is the plan. And as of right now, it looks like Tommy is dead and he's off the radar. Jabari meets up with Tariq. Now, Tariq's agreed to, give him permission to write that book. Now, when he meets up with him, Jabari has the money. He hands it to Tariq and he's like, all right, we got to do this and this. Out of nowhere, Kane has been following Tariq. Now, we know he's been trying to get Tariq because he thinks that that's the root of all of his problems. When he gets there, he pulls the gun out. When they hear him, Tariq moves and he shoots Jabari in the stomach. Now he's about to kill Tariq, and Tariq's like, hold on, listen. You can't kill me out here. All of this will be connected back to you. This guy knows everything. And if you kill me, then it's going to be both of us out here. Everyone's going to be looking for you, Kane. So you can't do this. And Kane is like, all right, cool. You right about that, but what are we going to do about this? Tariq is like, listen, that's Ramirez's dirty gun. Give it to me, and I'll finish him off. And Kane is like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Because now you'll be getting rid of this body and then the gun will be on you. So while Jabari is laying there, he goes over to Tariq. Tariq goes over to him because he ain't going nowhere. He shot up. And Tariq starts explaining to him, listen, I did kill my dad. I killed my best friend. So you think I'm not going to kill you to survive out here? Nah, I'm built like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a real killer. So Tariq ends up pop, 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 finishing Jabari off, puts one in the head. And the whole time, Kane is behind the tree because he left. But he ended up watching just to make sure that Tariq did it. And when he seen Tariq did it, he started smiling because he was like, damn, baby, they're right. Tariq is on, you know what I'm saying? He on our side. He part of the fam. Now, everything then been messed up. Sax got fired again. Davis is, hey, we got off. We got the case dismissed, so Tasha didn't go to jail. I got her off. I'm still looking good. You know what I'm saying? Everything's dismissed. We're good. But look here, Sax. You know all the ins and outs of the DA. You know what I'm saying? You've been a prosecutor. How about you come work for me? You know what I'm saying? Since we're both on the same side anyway, we're both crooked. We can make a lot of money. And then you can make a lot more money than what you're making here. So he slides him an offer. Sax looks at it. He's like, Before Davis leaves, he's like, take all the files you think that we would need. And Sax makes a joke like, you mean steal government documents? And and Davis was like, yep, take everything you can, pretty much. If you can get all the inside information, when you go to our law firm, we'll be ahead of anything that the DA has. So Sax is trying to get Davis. That'd be a cool little, you know what I'm saying, a cool little combo to have in your team. Because both of them crooked, and they're going to do whatever they can to win. The family's about to go on the run, so Tasha and Tariq, they meet up at the grave sites of James and Raina. And Tasha's there like, hey, I'm going to be gone for a while talking to Raina's grave site. I'm going to be gone for a while knowing I'm coming back, but I love you all. Tariq gets here and he's like, all right, Mom, look, I got the money. Let's make moves or whatever. But then all of a sudden the FBI pulls up. Tariq calls the FBI and says, hey, listen, there's a credible threat. Well, Tariq didn't call them. They already been on Tasha all day. But there's a credible threat. We need to, you know what I'm saying, get you up out of here. One thing the FBI did was they let Tasha continue to talk to Tariq. Oh, Tariq, you know what I'm saying? We got to do this. I want to go on the run with you, I promise. And Tariq's like, nah, I got to stay here. This is what I got to do. So the FBI is just sitting there. We know we have a credible threat, but we got to just stay here and let you talk to Tariq a little bit. The whole time, Tommy's in the back watching. So this is actually good that the FBI came and got Tasha because, hey, Tommy's back there and he was trying to kill. So Tariq puts Tasha in protective custody and Tariq staying back in the city. Out of nowhere, Tommy pops up. The FBI drives off with Tasha. He hops out. He grabs up Tariq like, man, I should have killed Tasha when I had the chance. And he's mad because he's like, dog, everything y'all got going on, forget all that. I want Tasha. She's trying to snitch on me. That ain't, she knows the rules. She knows the rules of the street. So people, when it comes to snitching and telling, it doesn't matter if you're a male, you're a female. If you in the game, you in the game. You play by the rules no matter what. So this has Tommy furious, bruh. He's on damn Tariq's head. But he promised Ghost he wouldn't kill him, but he'll whoop the hell out of Tariq. While Tommy has Tariq tossed up and grabbed up and in a distressed position, oh my God. Monet pulls up with the two pistols like, oh, this is the white guy I heard about? Okay, well, listen here. Whatever y'all got going on, Tariq is with us now. He's part of the family, so we ain't gonna have no problems. And Tommy's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? You got some balls coming up here doing this to me, but Tariq, whoever this is, I ain't got no problem with them, but your mom, I'm gonna always be after her now. From here on out, no matter what I gotta do, I'm gonna hunt your mom down. Monet's up here with this crooked pistol like this, probably about to shoot Tariq with the bottom one, but she held it down for my boy Tariq. And this pretty much solidified Tariq as being part of, hey, he's riding with Monet, and in fact, that's all it is. And while all this is happening, Drew, Diana, they all pull up. So now it's like Tariq leaves with Monet and them. What a finale, bro. What a finale. The last thing Tariq tells us, and I need all y'all to listen closely, it zooms in on Tariq's face, and what Tariq's face is, my father, he may not be here, but one thing, Ghost never dies. R.I.P. James St. Patrick, a.k.a. Ghost, man. Now, people been saying that there isn't a body, they ain't showed the body. Here's the grave site. I know they didn't put an empty casket in there. Let's just be real, you know what I'm saying? The Democratic Party did not put an empty casket in there. You know what I'm saying? There's not an empty casket in there. So here's his grave site for everybody that's been wondering. All right, there you go, the season finale. Let me know what you think below. Did they try to cram too much in it this season? Anyway, I like the overall season. For it to be a whole new spinoff, I like the direction they took. They could have obviously went a little more in depth and got rid of like the professors because they didn't really have a big role in the show. But overall, I give it a 7 out of 10, maybe a 6.57. But as it rolls on, I'm pretty sure they'll get better because they got a lot of new young actors. But let me know what you think. Anyway, I'm Moedotj. Thanks for watching. That's the Power Book 2. You know, power is the reason I got started doing reaction and recap videos. So if you like the content on my channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, turn on your notification. Thanks for watching. Hey, I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.